So you might be wondering, what is the Marine Kingdom this guy keeps talking about? I'm so glad you asked. I would suggest you go on YouTube and search it. It's a lot of videos on the Marine Kingdom. And the Marine Kingdom pretty much runs most facets of life. I don't know if I want to say every facet, but most facets of life. The Marine Kingdom is over the music industry, the movie industry. It's over if you live in an apartment building, it's the apartment building, your management or whatever is probably, or the owner of that apartment building, it is probably ran by that Marine Kingdom. Um, uh, your fire stations, your police or your law enforcement. I'll just say law enforcement. That's because it's a whole umbrella of under the law enforcement that covers the police, the sheriffs, all of them. The the Marine Kingdom runs so many different facets of life. Your grocery stores, your it's the parks, your parks that you go to during the summertime. I mean, the Marine Kingdom is in every facet of life. And the way you get sucked into the Marine Kingdom is by, like I was, a homosexual, or if you are engaged in any kind of fornication, immorality, and that would be sleeping or having sex with anybody that you're not married to. That is a great way to attract them things to you. And once you attract them to you, it's a fight and a struggle to get them away, to get them off of you. They're constantly trying to pull you into that darkness. And so I find myself most days, well, I have found myself most days engrossed in battle against them things. They're constantly interjecting evil, wicked dreams, um, uh, and I'm fasting. You got to do a lot of fasting, fasting and praying, trusting God and believing, talking to the Holy Trinity. I do all of the above as much as possible because once you open yourself up, let me say it like this: once you come out from under God's covering, because we're all under God's covering until we get ourselves engrossed in sin, rebellious behavior, transgressions. Your iniquities come from your bloodline. So anything that your bloodline, your ancestors or your forefathers, foremothers, and going on back 4 generations and maybe even further, anything that they were involved in, that just gives those demons the legal ground and the right to come right on down to the future generations. And that might be very well what you're dealing with now and wondering, well, what is going on? Why is this happening? That could be it. So you need to repent. Well, actually, I would say confess and repent your bloodline um, sins or iniquities, I should say, iniquities. Confess and repent for your bloodline iniquities. That's anything that they were involved in that was sinful and attracted those demons to them. Then they die. So when they die, those demons come right on down to the next generation. And it keeps going from generation to generation to generation until somebody in the family, in the bloodline, takes a stand against them and decide no more. So unless and until you do that, you're dealing with incubus and succubi spirits. You fall asleep at night and then you're kind of like halfway between sleep and awake and you can't move. You're stuck. You feel like something heavy is on you. A doctor would call that uh, a doctor would call that sleep paralysis. But in the spiritual world, it's called incubus or succubi. That's those spirits that they come from the Marine Kingdom. And the Marine Kingdom is made up of the Queen of the Coast, or a King of the Coast for the women, a Queen of the Coast for the men, uh, and it has mermaids and all this thing. So if you go into the store like for Christmas or for birthday to buy your little kids a mermaid or something, I would strongly advise you might want to give that a double thought. Think twice about that, because when you purchase things and you have things in your possession that are of the marine kingdom, then you attract them spirits to you too. And they may or may not affect you as much, but they will affect your child. So there's that. Yeah, those spirits are bad news. They can affect so many different areas of your life, and this is why I stay prayed up. I fast often. I talk to the Holy Trinity. I always try to stay close and intimate with God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Abba, Father, Yahushua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ. I try to stay close with them, and I communicate with them often because, again, once you become in covenant with the marine kingdom, they don't like to let go easy. It's a battle and a struggle, a battle and a struggle. So if you find yourself having to go through that, you have to just lock in and be prepared for the long haul. Or if you have not involved yourself in any kind of any sex, I don't care what it is, whether it's gay, straight, bi, lesbian, whatever, as long as you haven't involved yourself in any kind of fornication of that nature, you're not having sex with somebody that you're not married to, then you may just be safe, unless somebody in your bloodline or one of your ancestors touch something of touch the device of the devil, or they might have had some sort of been involved in sexual acts with somebody that they were not married to. That's how you bring them spirits upon you. And so you just have to, like I pray often. I pray a lot. And in these final times, in these last days, I make it a point to keep everybody at a distance. I don't hang out no more. I don't go out to clubs and bars no more. Well, because I've submitted myself unto God, I can't be hanging out in no kind of places no more. I don't do restaurants no more, because now since my eyes have been open, there's a lot of things running around on two legs that's not necessarily human. So, and the things that we're eating, you just never know what you're eating these days. You had better be one who prays a lot over your food. I pray over every crumb and every sip of liquid, whether it's water, soda, Kool-Aid, or what. I pray over everything. It could be a little small piece of candy. I pray over it before I eat it, because these days you just never know what you're eating. I keep hearing about human flesh being mixed in with the hamburger meat. I don't know how true that is. Well, I'm sure it must be, because the Bible talks about it. So the Bible talks about people being eating other people. I forget the name for that. But anyway, or all the times I get ready to pull into a grocery store, and before I even pulled into the grocery store, I'm not even all the way into the parking lot yet, and people yelling. They know my car, so they start yelling. I come home from work, I'm pulling in the parking lot, they're yelling. I haven't said anything to nobody, I'm just pulling into the parking lot, getting home from work or from the store or whatever. And the gaslighting and the name calling, I'm telling you, I've gone through a lot of that. And so I don't know if that may be why I have a struggle now with not doing that. Now I have to catch myself, or I find myself giving it back to the perps. But we got to know better than that, though. We can't act like they do. We have to pray, put them in God's hands, and trust God that He'll take care of them, because we could get hurt, we could be unalived, or that could go vice versa the other way too. So we want to avoid all of that kind of stuff, if and when possible. And more than likely, I don't know if they really mean you any harm, like they just want to flat out throw some punches or something. I don't think they want to do that. They just like to try to bully you in front of other folks and make other people think that that they bigger than they really are. So, but anyway, I'll be talking to you soon.